Greetings and salutations, I am your humble Adobe instructor, AJ Wood, and we're talking Adobe Illustrator CS5. Today I've got some quick tips for you. Let's go ahead and jump on in. First, I'm going to draw a star on the screen for you. And what I'll do is go up to the control panel where I can click and I can add a fill color. Now you'll notice when I click up here that it gives me my swatches panel, and few people know that if you actually hold the shift key when you click, it will give you the color panel as an alternative color interface. If I take my cursor over the color ramp, I can also hold the shift key and cycle through the different color spectrums available to me for mixing my own colors. So that's a nice feature here, and I'm just going to add a quick fill color to this star and change the stroke to be something much thicker. So here I have the star, and the next item up is a question often asked. When I go to scale an object, many people have discovered that sometimes when they scale the object, the stroke or the outline does not scale. This could also be true if you're using a drop shadow or some sort of special effect. So I'll go ahead and press Command Z on a Mac or Control Z on a PC to undo. And what we need to do is take a look at Illustrator's preferences. So that would be Command K on a Mac or Control K on a PC. And what you want to do is check the option called Scale, Strokes, and Effects. As long as that's on, I'll go ahead and click OK. And now you can see when I scale this star, the outline and the stroke also scaled with it. So just remember that setting is in your preferences and you can change it there. I'm going to take you over to the toolbar. Notice that I have the star tool here as my shape tool. A quick tip, if you hold the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on a PC, you can Option or Alt click to cycle through tools in a group. So if I kind of come over to the side, you can see I'm actually cycling through those different shapes. Something else for people who are new to Illustrator, when you press and hold, this of course brings the flyout menu for the tool group. Well, Illustrator is a little different in that you can actually tear off a tool group. So if I click on the tear off button, now I have a floating toolbar specifically for my shapes. I want to give you some shape key shortcuts. Right? So just remember you have the Alt key, the Shift key, the Control key to actually change the way you draw the shapes. So very quickly, this is a rectangle, and if I hold the Shift key, of course, it's going to give me a perfect shape. Notice it's pulling from the corner. If I hold the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on a PC, notice now it actually draws from center. If I want to change its position, I can hold the space bar, and notice when I hold the space bar, it lets me move the object before I complete drawing it. So those are some universal shortcuts I can use with all the shapes. But if I drill down to specific shapes, we have, of course, the polygon tool, the star tool, and the rounded rectangle. Well, the rounded rectangle, the up and down arrows control the radius on the corners. So the up arrow will make the corners rounded, more rounded, and the down arrow will square the corners off. If I use the up and down arrows with the polygon tool, this will add or remove sides. If I use the up and down arrows with the star tool, this will add or subtract points. With the star tool specifically, you can hold the Command key on a Mac or the Control key on a PC, and you can extrude or push in the points so I can make the star more acute or more obtuse by actually holding the Command key on a Mac or the Control key on a PC. So this is a nice feature there for the star. I'm going to go ahead and put some objects on the screen. And here I have a rectangle. If I want to make a quick copy, I can use my selection tool, and simply holding the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on a PC will let me drag out duplicates of this object. Now, many times when you go to align objects, you can now go to the control panel across the top of the screen. And many people have asked me, what does a key object mean? Well, if I choose to align by the key object, this means that I select or click on one of the items in my selected group. So if I click, notice as I click through these, the key object is highlighted in a thick blue border. So if I select the second object in this group, it is now the key object, and if I align left, center, or right, all the objects will move by the key object. The key object is also important if you want to distribute the spacing. So I'm going to go ahead and just align these, put them kind of close together, really far apart, medium distance. I'll select them all. And here, I'll make sure I align by the key object. So I'll do the leftmost rectangle. And I can do distribute spacing. Well, first, let's go ahead and align these by their centers. And if I do distribute spacing, I can distribute them by their centers. But notice, this isn't really the spacing that I wanted. If I go to the Window menu, I can open the Align panel. And one thing that's in the Align panel that's not in the Control panel across the top is the ability to do distribute spacing. When you do distribute spacing, you must specify a key object. I'll go ahead and use 30 pixels, and notice now I can distribute the horizontal space, and now they're actually 30 pixels apart. I could increase this or decrease that space. I'll go to, we'll do 10 pixels, and now I can actually put them closer together. So this happens by aligning by the key object. Notice if I select them again and no key object is selected, distribute spacing is not available. So that's a way that you can align objects. A couple other things to mention about your toolbars. A lot of your tool options actually have options hidden underneath, but you need to double click on the tool. So notice if I double click the line tool, here are the line segment tool options. If I go and actually double click on the spiral tool, nothing happens. That's because the spiral tool also has some shortcuts. So the Option key or the Alt key lets me actually twist the spiral by dragging it in and out. I can use my up and down arrows to add more to the spiral. I can use my Command key to actually wind and unwind the spiral. So there's a lot of different options there with that particular tool. A couple other quick effects before I wrap up these quick tool tips for Illustrator. Your View menu has the outline view. A lot of times you'll have some objects on the screen. They might have some colors, and you can't see the colors because you happen to be in outline view. In outline view, you're only going to see the paths and segments. You won't see any of the colors. I can tell that I'm in the outline view because my tab at the top says that I'm actually in the outline preview. If I go to the View menu, the keyboard shortcut is Command-Y on a Mac or Control-Y on a PC. So notice when I go back to my preview mode, I can actually see the colors once again. So this has been some quick tool tips. My name's AJ Wood. Appreciate you being here today. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon.